Well, good afternoon, students, and welcome to the first Connect session in MCO7. As we move through the subject, there's going to be a number of times where we have the opportunity to connect, or where you have the opportunity to connect with your fellow students to talk about some of the assessment pieces, to talk about, what does solution-focused therapy and narrative therapy, what's it all about? How do we practically use it in our therapy work? So basically, what I've done today as a precursor to the session, to the Connect session, is I've created an activity, and you have the choice, and we can discuss this in the next webinar. You have the choice on whether you would wish to participate in an activity, or whether you just like to get together with your classmates and perhaps discuss some of the material, have more of a sort of general discussion, where as the lecturer I will step back. For the purposes of today's Connect session, however, I've constructed an activity for you to do, and this can be done in live time in the Connect session, or it can be done outside of the Connect session if you go to the announcement page and have a look at the activity. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share my screen with you, and hopefully you can all see that screen now. So if you orientate yourself to the main MCO7 help page, you will see here we're in week 3, which is the Connect session, which normally goes for about an hour or so. Okay, so for the purposes of today's Connect session, here in announcements, I've put in a new topic, and as you can see, just to give you a brief overview, this is an area in which I will be putting up different activities, different things that are really going to assist you all in relation to your academic writing, in relation to APA 7, in relation to grammar, sourcing online articles, Connect sessions, and anything that I feel is relevant for your learning and relevant to help you to get a bit of a handle on collaborative and competency-based therapy and assessment and how we do it. So for the purposes of today, as I was saying, in the Connect session, what I've done is I've put it up here in the announcements. So if for those that are unfamiliar with the site, or perhaps would like a little bit of a refresher, so you're here on the main site and you go down and you get to the announcement section, which is here, and you click on that and you can see the different announcements. So you can see here on the 3rd of March, there was a welcome, and then there's some information about residential schools. Welcome to week 2, sourcing online articles, useful referencing information, APA 7 referencing, grammar and a writing guide, and the Connect session. Okay, so I'd really encourage you in your learning, as you study, as you work out, what particular times you will have in relation to, setting aside time for your study, because we all lead busy lives. But certainly, if you have a look at the main site, we really, in the study guide, actually, I believe it is, we really set out a time frame, especially at a master's level, in which you will need to put a certain amount of hours each week into your engagement. Yes, into your engagement with the site, into your engagement with the material. And as your lecturer, online lecturer, the best way that I can assist you, apart from the Connect sessions and the lectures, is to be putting up the relevant content in the announcements section in which you can go to. So I'd really encourage you to go to the announcements section, as I've been showing here, and have a bit of a look through. Yes, but it's especially at master's level that that you've got a comprehensive study plan in relation to hours that you put aside for your assessment pieces. Yes, because at master's level, we sort of expect, a certain level of academic competency in relation to you successfully passing this unit. Okay, so just a few little guides, a few little tips from me to you so that you can successfully pass the unit. Okay, so we'll go into the activity, which you'll be able to find in the announcements. And if you have a look here, if you go to Connect Session 1, I've put in a critical research activity, because fundamentally research or critical research, the ability to be able to critically synthesize different types of research is going to be indicative not only of getting used to writing academically and fundamentally understanding the course material, but also, as your career progresses in counselling, these are sort of muscle memory skills that you're going to need to draw on in your career. Okay, so I've put in this little activity, and it's fairly self-explanatory. Okay. So what I've done is I've attached an article, yes, a very comprehensive article, which is a criticism of solution-focused therapy. Okay, so the activity in itself is that in small teams, yes. So in this instance, in the Connect session, you'll be doing it individually. Okay, or you can, if you've already connected with some people in this unit, perhaps on some social media platforms, or with WhatsApp, or a number of plethora of other ways that you can connect. You can organise your time around sort of connecting with other students if you choose not to come into the Connect session that happens periodically throughout the semester. Okay. So perhaps in this instance, though, it's going to be an individual task, or as I said, if you've got people that you're connecting with regularly, you can choose to do this and make some time to do this as a collective. Okay, so either or, it's okay. So this was set up for the purposes of connecting today and being in a breakout room. So just keep that in mind. So in small teams or breakout rooms, your task is to read the article and have a discussion within your group, with your group members in relation to the content. So that's the first thing. So you read the article, and then you have a discussion with people that you're connected with in your group. Yes. And, I was allowing 20 minutes for this particular portion of the activity. And then the next section is, as your group, you will assign a member, or collectively, if you choose, locate via an internet search 5 journal articles from the last 10 years that counter-argue the propositions put forth by these researchers. So you have to keep in mind that the research, this particular research paper, which is excellent, was brought to the fore over 20 years ago. Okay, but it's a very, very thorough critique of solution-focused therapy. Okay, so I've also given the rationale for the activity. So basically, I've said here, and I can just read it out to you, is in your research and academic writing, it's very important that you acquire the analytical research skills to uncover strengths and limitations on various approaches to counselling and psychotherapy. Okay, it's critical that you're able to tease out the strengths and limitations of any particular approach that you're studying, any particular approach that you're using, so that you can find the gaps in your knowledge, yes, when you're working therapeutically with people, yes. So in this instance, I was allowing 60 minutes for the activity, in which we will then present our findings to the larger group, okay. So in this instance, the activity is there. And what we can do is in next week's webinar, we can have a little bit of a discussion about this particular activity, whether or not you have completed the activity on your own. And then we may have a bit of a discussion about that, or we may look at the possibility of incorporating that into next week's webinar. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be here in the background so that if anyone does choose to come in to the session today, we can go over this. But I certainly encourage, and I'm going to put the recording of the Connect session, of the activity, straight up into the straight up into week 3. Yes, and you'll be able to see it there, and you'll be able to hopefully gain a little bit from this particular exercise, and then we can talk about it next week. So I'll just stop sharing there. Okay,